Yo, what's up, bro? We back, and today we breaking down. Hold on. All right, we back. We back. And today I'm breaking down to you guys. Well, hold on. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Kevin Perry, the youngest boxing analyst in the game currently, and today I'm breaking down to you guys my early halfway point of 2025 boxing awards ceremony. Now, some of these are going to be real awards, but some of these awards we're going to get into are just awards that I'm going to give out myself. So first off, we're going to start it off with Coach of the Year and Manager of the Year. We're going to knock those two out of the way first. Then the next three we're going to get into is going to be Fight of the Year, Performance of the Year, and then KO of the Year. And then we're going to end it off with these four with the Comeback Fighter of the Year, Prospect of the Year, Breakout Fighter of the Year, and Fighter of the Year. And now, like I said, first thing we're going to get into first is Coach of the Year. And we're just going to knock this out of the way because it's easy, it's simple. It's no other than Bozy Ennis. It can't be anybody else but Bozy Ennis. No coach has done what he's done so far in the year. So first, he has Boots put on a masterclass against Stanionis that a lot of people thought was a 50-50 fight. And then he goes and takes Fulton and puts him in the ring with Figueroa for the rematch. And Fulton just looks untouchable. Figueroa was just no match for Fulton in that fight, and Scooter just showed levels. And then Andy Cruz in his last time out, he just looked phenomenal. I mean, on the Richardson hitching card, he couldn't be touched. Combination punches, his defense, his jab, all of it just looked so sharp that night. So no other than Bozy Ennis. Bozy Ennis in the middle of the year so far. Now, mind you, we have a long time to go, but Bozy Ennis so far is my Coach of the Year for 2025. Same thing with Manager of the Year. It's plain and simple. It's no other than Bill Haney. He's just kept Devin in the mix. Devin is his only fighter that he's managing, and he's just kept Devin in the mix throughout of all 2025. First of all, he has Devin put on a performance with Ryan Garcia that a lot of people shamed him for. And then he's going to go on and fight Jose Ramirez, and a lot of people didn't like that fight and called it boring. And then, after coming off of those two performances, he's going to get Devin a spot right into a Brian Norman fight. With any other fighter or any other manager, they're going to look into rebuilding their fighter. Nah, not Bill Haney. He constantly keeps Devin's name in the mix with all the top fighters, and this is why he's fighting Brian Norman Jr. next, and they're already selling the fight, not even to like a week of the fight being announced. Now, for Fight of the Year, there was some great fights like Inoue versus Cardenas, that had fireworks. And then there were some other fights that was just a firefight match with, Eubank and Ben. They put on a great fight. But me personally, my favorite fight of the year so far has been Tank versus Roach. In that fight, they show fire, like how Ben and Eubank and, how Inoue and Cardenas show skills. They showed all of those, and both those men were digging into their bag to secure that win. Now, me personally, I think that knockdown should have been counted, and that's why Roach should have won in my opinion, but it was a draw. It doesn't really matter who won because I got to see a great fight, and that's all that matters to me, honestly. Next one up, this is just a no-brainer. Performance of the Year, David Benavidez. A lot of people had David Morrell and Benavidez a very, very 50-50 toss-up fight. And a lot of people even had Morrell beating Benavidez. Some said stopping him and embarrassing him. Nah. Benavidez got in there and showed levels in experience, IQ, skill set, every single thing on that night. Benavidez did levels better than Morrell, and he just bullied Morrell. There was nothing Morrell could do to Benavidez on that night. Benavidez looked very unbeatable on that night, and Benavidez has a very, very bright future ahead of him, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do next with Anthony Yard on this November card. Next up, this is also just like a no-brainer. KO of the Year, in my opinion, that goes and belongs to Brian Norman Jr. And now Brian Norman's going to be looking to do the same exact thing to Devin Haney, and that's going to also be a great fight. But me personally, I have Devin Haney winning. I just don't think Brian Norman's going to be experienced enough, and that's going to secure Devin the fight. And Devin looks very confident in himself for this fight too. Now, Comeback Fighter of the Year, I thought coming into 2025, this was without a doubt Devin Haney's award. I thought this was, Devin Haney's going to come back this year, and he's going to look phenomenal, and he's going to be Comeback Fighter of the Year. But no. There's a lot of time left, and if Devin Haney goes on to beat Brian Norman, he could very well probably have the award locked. But right now, where we are at in 2025, right now, I'm giving it to Rolando Rolly Romero, bro. Yo, he surprised me, and I know he surprised y'all, bro. Don't tell me y'all wasn't surprised, bro. Everybody wrote him off. Even I wrote him off, bro. Everybody was just talking about the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia rematch. Same with me. I was just talking about that. I said, bro, Devin going dog walk Jose, Ryan going dog walk Rolly, and then we gonna have a big fight between them two for the rematch. Probably in Las Vegas or some big stage. No. Rolly had something plotting up the entire time he got in that ring, and he embarrassed Ryan Garcia, bro. Like, he embarrassed Ryan. Bro, he low-key embarrassed all the fans that wrote him off, too. Shout out you, Rolly, bro. Like, you really did your big one, bro. Prospect of the year. Now, this is like a no-brainer. I feel like prospect of the year every single year is just a no-brainer. Like, there's always one prospect that's kind of just, he put it on. Now, this could have, because mind you, Kid Austin could have fought Shakur. He could have fought Shakur early on in the year, and he could have lost, but he could have put on a good fight. And then he just knocked out Tevin Farmer in one round. Now, if he would have put on a good matchup against Shakur and then went and knocked out Tevin Farmer in round one, like 30 seconds, no doubt about it. Prospect of the year. But for me, Ituama is my prospect of the year. Every time you watch him fight, he's showing levels, he's showing IQ, he's showing skills, he's showing every single thing you want to see, and he is going to be a problem for the heavyweight division in the near future, not distant future, in the very, very near future. He is only a prospect right now, ladies and gentlemen, and just look at, if you guys never seen Moses Ituama, please just go watch this fight. That man is probably the best prospect in the game currently. I would give that to Abdullah Mason, but you see he's now at contender status fighting Sam Noakes for the vacant title in his next fight in November on that Benavidez, Haney, and Bam Bam card. Now next, breakout fight of the year. I had made a video on him not too long ago about how I'm now a fan of him. I'm going to give this award to Richardson Hitchens. Now I'm sure in the next 6 months there could be another fighter that breaks out, but right now, the one that's standing out to me when I look back on the year and I think, who broke out this year? Who really stepped into that? In my mind goes right to Richardson Hitchens. I really just can't think of anybody that compares to Richardson Hitchens. Yeah, he fought an old, washed Kambosos, but Kambosos is a big name and he has some decent skills. Like, Kambosos isn't like just a garbage can. I mean, we're talking about somebody who defeated Teofimo and bloodied up his face. So Richardson Hitchens got in that ring and he did everything he said he was going to do. He put on a very fun fight. I was laughing a lot during that fight just because, like, Richard Hitchens was showing skills. Like, I thought, like, I was, like, kind of down on Richard Hitchens before that fight. But, he shut me up, and he shut up a lot of the other naysayers, and he's my 2025 breakout fighter of the year. Last but not least, for fighter of the year, I mean, right now, I just have to give it to Dimitri Bivol. Now, mind you, you can't, like, midway through 2025, a lot of fighters have only fought once, so you kind of just got to wait for people to fight twice or 3 times, you know what I'm saying? But right now, I got to give it to Bivol. The way he fought Beterbiev, and he won in the, in the beginning of the rounds, and then, in the middle of the rounds, Beterbiev started swaying towards his way, and then Bivol made some really good adjustments to secure that win and take home the undisputed belts. That was just a really good performance to me. And there's just nobody else. I think, like, maybe Benavidez could get fighter of the year, but I don't know. I just got to give it to Bivol. There might be a little bit of bias because Bivol is, like, my top 5 favorite fighters. But, I don't think he will win fighter of the year at the end of the year. I think if Terrence Crawford goes and beats Canelo, maybe even stops him. If he stops Canelo, he's no doubt about it, 2025 fighter of the year. But I think even somebody like Bam Rodriguez could go and win fighter of the year. He's going to be fighting Cafu next week in Texas. And then he has another unification fight on the Benavidez versus Yard card. I think he could definitely win fighter of the year. So I think right now my toss-up, it would have to be Bud or Bam that stands holding up that trophy at the end of the year. But right now, halfway through the year, I'm giving it to the man, Dimitri Bivol. And now this is where I'm going to leave it to you guys. If you guys have any, dispute with any of my picks, feel free to leave them in the comments, or if you guys want to see any, because I'm probably going to, I plan on being on boxing YouTube, a while. So if you guys have any awards that you want me to include for, my other ceremony for the end of the year, and then, midway through 2026, if you guys have any other awards you want to see, or if you guys think somebody else should win an award, just let me know in the comments, and we could talk about it in the comments. But no further ado, I'm Kevin Perry, the youngest boxing analyst, and this was my breakdown of the 2025 Midway Boxing Awards. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.